Cy Richardson, Norwood.
Luis Contreras, actor de aquí, de allá y todo el mundo.
Tom Richmond, cinematographer, Straight to Hell.
My name is Dennis Hopper, and I play I.G. Farben in Straight to Hell.
Nobody picked up on I.G. Farben, none of the critics.
Who's I.G. Farben?
I.G. Farben was the man that invented the gas they used in the gas chambers in Auschwitz and other locations.
My name is Xander Berkeley, and I played Preacher McMahon.
Biff Yeager, and I think I played Frank McMahon.
My name is Sue Keel, and I played Ma McMahon.
My name is Ed Pansulo. I played the part of Mac McMahon.
My name's Alex Cox, and I'm the director and co-author of Straight to Hell.
My name is Dick Rude. I am co-writer of Straight to Hell, and I also played the role of the cute, bumbling killer, Willie.
Del Zamora, and I played, I'm not sure if it was either Sal or Pancho.
I'm Jennifer Balgobin. I played Fabienne, the would-be French woman.
My name is Miguel Sandoval. I played the character of George Lopez.
My name is Courtney Love, and I played the part of Velma in Alex Cox's brilliant film, Straight to Hell.
My name is Sean Madigan, and I was the key grip on Straight to Hell.
My name is Xander Schloss, and I played the character of Carl the Wiener Man, who was actually the son of Oscar Mayer.
First I heard that Dan Wool was Joe Strummer's alias when he was trying to get out of contractual obligations with Epic when he wanted to do film score work, and I heard that on the internet, and then we heard that Pray for Rain was Xander's band, and so that's not true either.
I had just gotten back from Chicago, and I picked up the phone, and answer machine says, "Hey, Cy, this is Alex. Let's go to Spain, make a movie, and have a holiday." I said, me calling back and telling him, okay. Yeah.
I was sitting at home in Santa Monica, and I got a strange call from some mates who were off in Spain saying, we desperately need some Herradura tequila, and we need it hand-delivered.
My recollection of getting involved in Straight to Hell is a little trip to the Cannes Film Festival that involved myself and Joe Strummer and Dick Rude visiting Alex, who was had a movie, Sid and Nancy, in the festival. And we all crashed in his hotel room and stayed up till like 5 or 6 in the morning, and then came out and hung out by a swimming pool, all dressed in black suits and covered in sweat. And I feel somehow that was the genesis of the film.
He would use the same actors repeatedly. Not all the same, but a lot of the same. It was almost like feeling like you were in a repertory company, which is great.
At about 4 years old, I played an elephant in a school play with costume and all, nice tail.
In all the motion pictures that I participate in as a thespian, I try to bring a certain amount of frisson to my performance. Oftentimes, that frisson takes the form of song.
Straight to Hell happened because I had arranged with the producer, Eric Fellner, and various musical groups, Joe Strummer, the Pogues, Elvis Costello, to go on a rock and roll tour of Nicaragua in solidarity with the Sandinistas.
There was this moment where we were all set to go to Nicaragua, but Idle Hands of the Devil's Workshop was the next line I remember. We're off to Spain.
Tragically, when the time came for us to put our money where our mouth was, we hadn't raised the money for the rock and roll tour.
Would you like to go to Spain for 6 weeks? Yes. Of course, yes, paid, okay.
So Eric said, even though we failed to find the money for the rock and roll tour, I think if you guys can come up with a script quite quickly, that I can get some money to make a feature instead, using these guys. And that's why Straight to Hell was written very quickly, and it's why it's full of rock stars, because we promised them all a job.
I want a job. I want a job. I want a real job. I want a job that pays. I want a job. I want a job. I want a good job, one that satisfies my artistic needs.
There's a film called Savage Cowboy starring Charles Bronson, and this was the film that town was constructed for in the middle of the desert. So I've been trying to track this film down ever since, but I want to see that film. Because even though it's a pile of bricks in the desert and it's just a measly set, a prop to a 1972 spaghetti western, somehow we got to love that pile of old mud and stuff, you know?
So the person who we decided, I and my co-author, should suffer as a scapegoat of the film, to be the innocent, endlessly persecuted youth, was Xander Schloss, who had played the equally unlucky Kevin in Repo Man, who specialized in a number of films in playing alienated and unlucky youth. He was also a musician.
I expected to be on top of the world right now with a major record deal, and was promptly dropped last year on Black Thursday. And it was a long, slippery slope down from there. We were dropped without any compensation, or all the people that you thought were your friends turned their back on you. And
come on, try my hot wings, stranger. Best little wiener in town. My name ain't Carl.
Don't ever speak to me again.
I did think there was a lot of picking on Xander, and we actually had a long talk about that one night walking along, because I can see the tears in his eyes, and it was the first time I'd ever seen him really emotional and actually taking everything very, very seriously as to what was happening to him, and understanding that he didn't like being picked on.
can remember laying in hot coals when Dickie was kicking over my wiener stand.
What's the matter with the kid? Sexual tension?
Jennifer shot my dog. It was unbearable for me. Because I'm such a method actor, I used the Stanislavski method.
I think he deserved it. I think he was a young man, and every young man needs a little punishment so he can start his career.
He'd never done stunts or anything before, and we tied a rope to him and tied a truck to the rope and revved the engine up and told him that was the way that was done in the real movies.
I think we definitely, saw the outer regions of what we could get away with, and I imagine that's why some of that got cut. Just too harsh, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think there was a little bit too much beating up on him.
There was definitely not too much beating up of Xander. The sad thing was that at first he was completely into it. Then the more he got beat up, he seemed to become reluctant and feel that he was actually, being, that people were actually being mean to him. And that kind of took something away from it. I thought he kind of lost his je ne sais quoi.
I think he got off easy because I had some things in mind and I still owe him a few.
Lick it. No. Lick his.
It's quite hard for me because I was getting beat up a lot. I was being made fun of, being told that I would have to dunk my head into a fountain with tons of little microorganisms that looked like sea monkeys swimming around in it.
My favorite scene had to be Xander Schloss playing the Wiener Kid getting beat up.
He wanted Xander to go into the fountain. And who was it? A couple of it wasn't the Pogues themselves, but a couple of the roadies were like, I think it was Repo McMahon said, "Oh, I don't know if I would do that, man. Look at that water, it's over." And Alex was, "I'll do it, man. I'll do it. I wouldn't ask you to do the same thing. I wouldn't ask you to do something if you wouldn't do it. You know, I wouldn't. And so I won't ask you to do something I wouldn't do. And sure enough, Xander didn't want to do Xander, and Alex went over and dumped his head into the water and pulled it out. And he goes, see? See?
Yeah, you know what was really funny about that, though, was when I did that, I stick my head in the water, right, like to show Xander how it's done, like a macho, right? I stick my head in the water. I didn't realize there's like a concrete post that sticks up underneath the water surface, and I knotted this concrete post, bam, like that.
We had pretty much just finished doing Sid and Nancy when Straight to Hell kind of popped up, and knowing Alex well enough, I think that we were always sort of like in the running for composers.
There is hidden footage in that film that should be retrieved and put back into it, you know? There's a scene where Cotter Ryden has got Elvis Costello tied to a chair and they're slapping his face by the light of the full moon. Let me tell you, she was really slapping his face. There wasn't no Hollywood bald. She was whacking the, and there are scenes like that that aren't in the film that should be.
Originally, we had an alternate title called The Legend of Patty Garcia.
I think that the funniest part in that whole movie that I can remember was that you wanted an insert shot of a hand coming out of a grave. And you asked everybody, hey, will somebody get down there so we can get this hand coming out of the sand? And we went, no, no, no. It was about 110 degrees there. And, well, I wouldn't ask you to do anything I wouldn't do. Well, then why don't you do it, Alex?
Yeah, we actually laughed. We all went, and we were up a mountain, and we said, okay. And the AD says, we're going to shoot it again, Al. Hold on, we got to change reels. And so that takes a while, so we all quietly left. And we just kind of hung around, actually, and I think some people had cigarettes.
I had a scene with Grace Parr. And,
no, Grace Jones.
Oh, Grace Jones, Grace Parr. Who's Grace Parr? Oh, Grace Parr was a woman in Taos, New Mexico, who was the head of the Democratic Party.
I also met my wife doing Straight to Hell. See?
In Spain?
No, met in, she took me to the airport. Yeah, and we had never dated, really had a long conversation. She took me to the airport, and when I came back, we started dating, and 2 years later, we were married. See? So Straight to Hell has a lot of great memories for me. When I did Straight to Hell, I had a regular gig job. I worked at a bank, and I was a manager at a bank. And when Alex called me, he said we would be gone 4 weeks. Then when I got to Spain, he says, no, it's 5 weeks, because the first week, the three of us had to get acclimated to each other to do the film. So I called, I don't even think I told you this, I called United States and called the bank, and I told them, look, I need an extra week leave. And they said, you know, you're a manager now, there's a conflict of interest. I said, okay, I resign. But 14 years later, I've done over 50 features. So I have no complaints. It was like, this is my starting point.
Alex and I were setting up a camera beneath a cliff for the stupidest shot probably for the camera position of a car coming over in flames coming down at the camera. We just got the camera into position and the car came off the cliff. Not with the camera rolling, but the car on fire came off the cliff. And it was just after Alex had asked me, do you think Antonio was drunk today? And I answered, yes, sir, of course. Alex stood up and said, excellent rehearsal. Let's do it again tomorrow. And I think we did it again with somebody else's car. I got up to wander up the hill to thank the gentleman who tried to kill me, and by the time I got there, he was halfway to Madrid. I guess he quit.
People think, oh, what a laugh, but at 6 a.m. every day, for 3 weeks and 6 days, everyone was on set out in the middle of the blazing desert wearing full clothing like suits and stuff and working till sundown. I'm back on the set at 6 a.m. Sometimes some of the pogues would fall asleep drunk in the gullies and we wouldn't be able to find them, and they'd just sleep in the gullies all night. and we'd find them the next day. I mean, it's a pretty wild set, but people worked really hard, and for scale pay, you know, nobody got any money or pay off that film.
What's the most fun you've ever had being a DP?
Straight to Hell, by far, because we were little kids in a sandbox, you know, and the thing that was cool is that I mean, despite all the myths about that film, about how everybody was all crazy and high when we were making it, most of the time when we were shooting, me and Alex anyway, and the people who were the crew, we weren't at all. And we could do whatever we wanted to, and we did it fast and on time, and it looks beautiful. Bah humbug.
I don't know, for whatever reason, but the reviews kept saying that there must have been all kinds of cocaine flying around the set and everything like that. And I remember a couple actors, I won't name their names, but they were sure mad because they didn't get any.
There wasn't any.
But they were mad. They're like, Dal, did you see any? And I said, no, I didn't see any. I don't know what you're talking about.
I saw a lot of wine, man. I didn't like wine, but I got the electric wine when I got
so wine and coffee.
I feel as though things have turned out as expected.
It's like someone's pouring a bucket full of energy on your head, and there's no money in the bank, there's no lover, there's no job, but you're just smiling and incredibly at peace, and the love is just like making you smile from ear to ear, and you have nothing except your apartment.
I'm going to go have an art show in Amsterdam, August 15th, a retrospective of my artwork. But I have no film plans at all. I have no acting jobs. I have no films to direct. I'm just doing retrospective.
Sometimes I look at Courtney and I think that's interesting because in a way, what I know, I saw her determination to make it, to crack through and do, and that ambition and that drive. And I think in a way I recognize that I had a lot of that same thing when I was younger. And I was convinced that I was going to die one day, an old lady on a movie set or on a stage, you know, in the midst of some grand role. And it hasn't turned out that way.
Some have like gone beyond my expectations, really. Like the art has sort of gotten out of hand. But as far as what my contribution to anything is very limited. I feel that I've really done very little work, serious work in my medium, which is film.
My current plans are to love everyone, to be a nicer guy, to change myself so that I don't have to come back and be such an asshole in the next life, and to continue with my passion of filmmaking.
That's sort of what's nice about being a composer. You don't even really need to be ambulatory. I think you can just sit in a bed and compose if you had to. So I'm not planning on retiring. I mean, I get tired of the politics, and I get tired of it seems like the bigger the film I've gotten involved in, the worse the politics are, and so that's no fun. But I would like to just sort of work on, independent features till I die.
I don't think anything has really changed. I mean, you have maybe a little more freedom as an actor, and I believe that the independent market that Easy Rider started is only an independent movement by name only. It's not really independent anymore. All the companies that were, like Miramax and New Line, have all been absorbed by the bigger companies. You can make an independent film, which was more than we could do in the old days, but to get it really distributed theatrically, you really have to deal with the majors, and you're basically shut out of that market.
From a kid who comes from the ghetto of Chicago, I believe it took three things for me to get to this point in my life. It took prayer, education, and persistence. It's pep. Keep a lot of pep in your life, and you can do whatever it is you want to do. That's it.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Or would you go back to hell?
Yeah, let's go back.
Okay, let's go back. Would I go back to hell? Yeah, I guess I would. I think you could give me a little bit more dignity when I go back, though. Oh, you're laughing.
Dick's shaking his head. Look.
Never happened. You're so good at what you do.
Nobody fucks with me now. Do you understand?
Not even for money?
No. Not even for money. I no longer kiss ass. I no longer get beaten up. I do the beating. And people kiss my ass.
Oh, God, yes. In a nanosecond. Definitely. If there was a Back to Hell 2, Straight to Hell 2, yeah, in a nanosecond, I would be there with bells on. I really would.
How much would I have to pay?
$500.
Okay, I'm there.
Do you have a check?
Hey, we take American Express?
Yeah.
Okay. In a minute. I'd love to. I had a lot of fun there, especially with, well, we'll stay away from the production ladies for now.
In a minute. In a minute and a half.
Let's do it.
I love it all. I love it all. To quote Olivier's.
Oh, of course. I'd love to direct Back to Hell. Back to Hell.
I see it already in a kind of cardboard box with a silvery colour, like to give it the platinum vibe, you know? At least an hour longer would sort everyone out, I think.
In a second, if hell was in Almeria, or actually, where else would be hell? Hell could be in Nicaragua. I'd go there. Although I think the south of France, hell is good in the south of France. I'd go any place.
Would you consider doing the film Back to Hell, which would be the title of the sequel from Straight to Hell?
No, not in this stage of my career. I think it's like, I'm out of the independent thing right now.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Courtney. Peace and out.
Okay. Bye.